we lit. So let's figure out what we're gonna play. I'll just play a beat. We're gonna rap. You ready?
Oh God.
Rock bottle on the track, boy.
I ain't gonna lie. Look, hold up, yeah. Flip through the bit, flip through it now, I got a 6. I got it back in this hit. Bitch ain't gonna play with no shit. Bitch don't play with my 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 shit. I got it back in the flip. Bitch I got magic in the I got a bill on the side. Bitch I got no one on whip. Bitch I got play with my shit. Bitch don't play with my shit. Where you at, bro? You supposed to go.
Baby, I can't rap.
Oh, man. Come on, man. You supposed to be able to rap, Joe.
I'm sorry. That ain't in my DNA.
I hear you.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You ain't finna have me on this bitch looking crazy. I can do that by my damn self.
Share this video right now. I got a bag on me right now. You want to send a nigga like, wow. I might just shoot them all up in the crowd. Quentin House, what up? Patricia, what up? Marquetta, what up? Mecca Wilson, what up? Bad Saba, I think I'm saying your name right. What up? Hey, share this video, man. We live. Let's go. What I say? Baby, my man, won't let me see my son. Won't let me see my son. Yo.
I didn't know you had bars.
Come on, man. I got bars. Let's stop playing me, man. It's the Crazy Ride Show. It's the Boyloscrazy.
Oh, me? I'm Brooklyn, the one and only.
Shout out to Brooklyn in the building right now, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Shaq the God, Desi Benno State. I'm flying. We were live, but we had to start over.
Because Facebook is very ghetto.
Because it's Christopher Columbus Day, that's why. Oh. So shout out to Christopher Columbus for discovering America.
Let's be fucking for real. BFFR.
He didn't discover America, but we still celebrate Christopher Columbus Day. It's crazy.
Something like that.
But that's what today is. And we started off the show before. I wanted to make it clear I am hosting an event today for, not even for, I was asked by Joseph Severino to moderate a portion of his event at the Genesee Theater today at 5. He's a Republican. He's running for Congress against Brad Snyder, which is a Democrat. Everybody in this region knows Brad Snyder. If you don't, I don't know where you've been at. And I got a few calls like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yo, I've always been the conversation starter. I've always been in the middle of politics. I've always wanted to hear both sides. I've never endorsed a politician in my life.
You're Switzerland.
So yeah, I'm Switzerland. I'm neutral. So that is happening today. But again, I'm not endorsing Joseph Severino. But I will say this, Brad has never asked me to do anything.
Well,
I'll say that. But that's no shade against Brad Snyder. Shout out to Brad Snyder. But we're talking about love today. We're talking about transactional relationships. Today, the reason why love is such a topic, because it seems like love doesn't exist. Like love isn't the thing. And it's like you have to be, it's like Chris Rock says, nothing is love unconditionally but kids. And men are loved based on the condition that they provide. And if a man does not provide, he's not going to be loved correctly. That's why he goes and seeks financial security so that he can find love. I think that is the saddest shit in the world.
it is. To feel like you have to have something, because love is something that you're undeserving of.
Okay.
Self-love is one of the main reasons why a lot of people feel like they're not finding love, because you can't love yourself. You can't love yourself and expect somebody to love you if you can't love you first.
For sure.
But
Get closer to the mic.
You don't have to do anything to be deserving of love, of worth, of care, of anything.
You do though.
You don't.
Men do.
You don't.
Men do.
And that should be changed as well.
Well, we know that you want to be sweet, Brooklyn, and you're looking at it like,
this is real shit,
you shouldn't
though.
have to. That's not just the case. The
But
case is that
it is the case
men
because
have
you
to
pick
provide.
and choose who you date. You pick and choose who you fuck with.
But it's like you're choosing the lesser version, and then when the greater version comes, you leave the lesser version. It's like today's women, and you fit in this category because you're a younger young lady, and I don't know if you're single or not, but I won't put your business out.
For sure.
Okay, you're single, so you're seeking relation, right? And I think that financial security is a part of the top two things that you're looking at. Maybe you won't say it here, but the truth is,
on some real
you
shit,
won't date a broke guy.
I won't date a broken-minded man.
Okay.
Because a man can gain all of the materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
I came from nothing, and you know what I'm saying. I worked my way up. I got my own crib, my own car, my own all that shit.
Uh-huh.
A nigga could have simply looked at me the same way back in the day and be like, I'm not fucking with that bitch. Like, you know,
Let's
she
not
down
cuss
and
so much.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
sorry. You
though.
know, that's just me.
I love it. I try to keep it a
Fuck
little.
Mark. But
Zuckerberg.
that's just real. Because a man you can have a good man with a good foundation, a good heart, a good mind.
That's tough,
and
I just don't believe you. I mean, not that it's a personal, I don't believe you.
I know.
It's the
just
society.
realistically,
No.
I know, because that's what music push. That's what media push. Oh, if that nigga ain't got no money, woo woo. Forget him. Get on to the next nigga, woo woo. If that bitch ain't got woo woo,
Right.
what I'm fucking with her for?
Well, I
And
don't know.
It's a mindset.
No, it's
thing.
different for the women, though. It's different for men and women. Men Men have been seeking women the same way for years. That hasn't changed. In the last 10 to 15 years, the approach in women to men has changed. Like,
Oh, for sure.
so and that's what I mean by, like, the woman isn't seeking, she doesn't seek to be loved. She seeks to be taken care of.
It's not every woman though.
I disagree. I think
not every
and I'm gonna just do it.
Because okay, think about it. You can get a nigga that'll take care of you, but he got all these fucking problems. I promise you, if I had a nigga that took care of me, and I've been in this
What do you mean
situation-
take care of you? Like provide for you?
Provide for me
Okay,
financially,
okay.
right? But he got all these fucking problems. You can keep your money and your problems because it's.
But you already got the money though. You already got all that. Like you got to deal with it to a certain point.
Who the fuck wants to deal with anything?
I'm saying you
throughout their
did
life?
though. Like we did. Like you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
you
saying,
endured
a
it because you were
continuous
taken
thing.
care of.
But even from rip, like, you know, if you got all these red flags and this nigga might have all this money, but he got all these problems, like, why would you still want to?
So this is what I'm saying. I think that the younger black, I'm not gonna say black, the younger in the industry of hip hop and
It's because that's
social
what media
media,
is made to do.
for sure. So what I'm saying is that woman has turned into, I'll deal with you because you have money.
And it's almost like niggas that deal with a bitch because her ass fat, or you know her pussy
For sure,
good. You
for
know
sure,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Like, that's so stupid to me.
That's
I'm not no niggas, I don't know, but
It's
I
a
just
little,
feel like
no,
that's
you're
so-
right about that. No, you're right. I'm just saying I don't value those things the same. Because like, it's like sex versus relationship.
But imagine a nigga that hasn't had all that yet.
Had what?
He got all the good pussy, and you know what I'm saying? He got to get that shit out of his system, as they say.
Right.
But that's like the value system. It's like a balance. If he got money, she got a fat ass, she pretty. You know what I'm saying? They could be a value to each other, and that's almost what it is now. I'm not saying everybody is like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying
Oh,
every
they want to do a
every man
poll.
is like
Can
that,
you want to
but-
do a poll, Brooklyn?
Yeah, let's see if
Brooklyn's our new
figure this out.
producer. She's just a guest today.
I'm just adding
And
shit to the belt.
Let's see what we can do. Interactivity right there. Bam. There we go. Now the poll should be, what should the poll be? Do women only date for money? What should the poll be? I don't know. You guys tell us what the poll should be.
I feel like that's just so problematic.
I don't know. You make it. I don't know because I'm being
it
biased.
is,
I'm obviously
it
being. I'm
is.
the guy. I'm a guy, so I'm being biased.
Okay. Because, I mean, we could both speak from our own personal
Right.
experience. but,
Right.
like,
Which
this is shit
which
that
I
we
am.
see. Yeah, exactly.
Which I definitely will. Yeah. You're typing nothing at this point. It's okay. God bless you. Okay, bam. Now hit the poll right there. No. It's above it right there. You see it?
God damn it.
There you go. Now hit activate. There you go.
I knew that. Ta-da.
There you go. So the poll is live. It'll be popping up momentarily. This is what I mean. I think that, and Chanel just asked the question. I'm gonna read y'all comments in a minute. She asked, her question was, do men have to be financially stable to be loved properly? Like that was a better question. But I think that
I clicked it. Is it tired? It might be tired. Might be
She's
tired.
down. I think a broke man, I think a man who doesn't have anything doesn't get the shot to be loved. I think women have fell in love with broke guys before. But he like finessed you out
But
the ass
not
first.
even.
And then you found out he was broke later on in life.
Not even.
And it was too late.
I have loved a man at his lowest point. Granted, that was like my high school sweetheart.
Was he broke in the beginning?
We were in high school, but it
Oh,
went
okay.
to 6 years after that. So
Okay.
it was a lot of shit that I could have been avoided, walked away from, but I still loved him to the capacity I could.
Right.
Now, I will say, I am a whore for falling in love with potential. And I think that's the problem with a lot of women.
For sure.
That's why when you say broke men.
But now, no. Now it's different.
Oh, hell no. I ain't even gonna play with you.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest thing is falling in love with the potential of a man, where you say, like, if he's broke or financially whatever. Because a nigga can walk through this bitch and Gucci the fuck down, but he's sleeping on his brother, baby mama crib on the couch or some shit.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right,
you don't really know until you know.
Right.
Because just like my daddy say, they send a representative.
For sure.
So you don't really know.
Sending the rep, definitely. Because I'm definitely sending a rep. I mean,
Man,
you
what
can't
see is
see
what
the
you get.
real
I ain't got
me.
time for that shit.
No, I'm joking. I mean, at 33, there's definitely no representation.
But you know, you put your best foot forward, but it's also an in-between with that.
Right.
Like, be your real, authentic self, but don't be... I seen something where it said women wear makeup because men fall in love with what they see. And men, I think it was something along the lines of men flaunt money because women like things that they can have. Or
For
some
sure.
shit like that.
For sure.
I was like, damn. Like,
It's
it's
real.
fucked up.
It's real. But I mean, that's the difference between, to me, I don't think anything is wrong with making sure that your man is providing for you and can provide
Of
for you.
course not.
I don't think it's anything wrong with that, and I want to make sure that I'm making it very clear that I don't think anything's wrong with that. What I will say is I think that the standard of, when you talk about feelings, I'm a very sensitive man. I've been very vulnerable about that on this show many of times. I'm a sensitive guy. Don't say certain things to me. Don't say it like that. I'm going to be vulnerable.
When your birthday?
November 25th, coming up, Sagittarius gang.
Ew.
And I've said that really openly to certain women, and I've felt like certain women accept it and then some don't, but I don't care because I'm letting you know what it is before we even get
Jump
there,
into it, right.
so that you understand what type of man you're dealing with. It's not a fault or a flaw. It's just the truth about me. It comes from my past and being sensitive about how you're talking to me, and that's something that someone can help me get better with. But the point of me saying all that is that sometimes that doesn't matter. It's only, you would be surprised how many girls think I'm rich because of a crazy place.
Oh, for sure.
And I am, I'm rich in the mind. And,
Period.
and the changing of the type of women that approach me now from when they did before says that I can add value to their life.
Yeah.
That's the essential piece of it. Whether it's very like shallow, like, I'm gonna get this nigga some money from this nigga, or it's like this nigga can match my energy.
Right.
I get it. Elevation comes with a certain responsibility. So I'm not saying like you're a gold digger, but I am saying that it shouldn't be such a shallow transaction, because sometimes I feel like.
I feel as though, like, just how you said your elevation is now weeding the people out that you can see as using for your money. I feel like that's a good thing, because now you can see, oh, well, they weren't coming around when woo up the bam.
Right.
You can see that shit before it even comes, so
sure.
you don't have to deal with it.
For sure.
I really hate that things are transactional.
Yeah.
I'm a very simple woman. I'll tell a man real quick, like, we can go sit by the lake. You know what I'm saying? Not one of them, like, you tell me McDonald's type bitch, but I'm a quality time type of person. So.
Me too.
That's good, but you find someone that can listen to you and actually care about you. Like, you can tell the way they carry themselves. And that's why I said self-love is so big with loving somebody else, because you can't give what you don't give yourself, and you can't give what you ain't got.
Facts
you
only.
pouring into an empty glass with an empty glass. That shit not gonna work.
Well, let me ask you this. How much does your friends influence how you love?
They don't.
They don't.
I am an emotional thug. I am very, unfortunately, in tune with my emotions.
Okay.
And it's dealt with from my childhood, because I had to oppress my emotions growing up. So when I finally got grown, I was like, shit, I can feel whatever the fuck I want to feel. So now of course I get advice from my friends, or like my mom, or because my daddy always tell me the game don't change, the players do. So, I'm going to go to my elders and, ask whatever. But
Definitely.
do they influence what I do? No.
No.
If I want to love this nigga, I'm going to love this. Just like I tell all my friends, you get tired of being tired of dealing with somebody or just being tired, you're going to be tired. So, no.
Never.
No.
That's tough. And I believe you.
I've had it where I've had to hide that I was messing back with somebody because I was like, I ain't even try to hear their mouth because I'm still going to do what I want to do. And I had to get to a point where I'm like, I'm grown. That's why I tell my friends, they be like, I'm so sorry I went back to so-and-so. I'm like, bitch, I ain't fucking with you.
Right. That was you.
I didn't break your heart, but I'm going to be here for you. You know
but do
what
you
I'm saying?
do you see the residue of women approaching certain men because of conversations that they have with their friends? Like I've seen, and to the life of me, I don't understand certain things, but it's not for me to understand, I guess. But does that happen, even though it's not you that feels that? Does the influence of friends affect who their friends date? Have you seen that happen before? I was like, nah, it's not really the case. No? That's surprising.
Because all my friends are so like different and like.
That's surprising. You're clapping up for that.
Like all my friends are different and like universal. I feel like that's why we all cohabitate. Like I have certain friends for certain things, and like I have a lot of different friends, but because they're all individuals.
Let you read some comments.
Okay.
Scroll up. You gotta scroll up.
Hey, my brother.
We're gonna read some comments.
Let's see.
The poll isn't working. I don't know why it's not working.
I see it's another Sagittarius in here. You got to get out. No, I'm kidding.
Shout out to the gang.
Pisces gang.
I don't know nothing about y'all.
Let's see. She said, dealing with someone who is troublesome, who has money, and accepting the troubles that come with them solely because you have to provide is nothing new, and it's not limited to black. And I really
That's why
hate
I changed
that.
it. I changed it.
I love that. No, I really love that she said that because growing up, you always seen like grandma and grandpa, they've been going 50, 60 years strong, but little do you know, like.
They went through hell.
Oh, my mama.
Yeah,
It's now where I'm not going to put up with that shit. And they kind of, the elders be looking at us like, oh, y'all couldn't have went through what we went through.
Well,
I
think it's a certain amount to that too, though, that we can get into. But keep reading the comments. But that's a really good point, though. It's a really good point.
You know, women now are more independent. Not saying they weren't back in the day, but the opportunities and the help and availability wasn't the same.
And the roles were different. The
Hell
women had to
yeah.
do certain things at
Now
50s
it's
and
like
60s.
we the breadwinners. Not saying it's not men out here that is breadwinners, but at the same time, we ain't got to put up with that shit. I can leave your ass.
For sure.
And that's where it's kind of like the strong black woman. Don't nobody want no strong black
Yeah,
woman.
yeah.
It's
I
too
disagree.
many dynamics that go
I
into
need
it.
a strong. I need a
Absolutely, but it's knowing when to hold them and when to fold them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my problem now.
Yeah.
I'm such a strong black woman. I'm too fucking independent.
Yeah,
Nigga,
yeah,
I
yeah.
carry these 3 cases of water on my head if I got to. Like, that's my problem.
Get a whole hernia, back hurt, legs.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, someone else said, no love comes from within. Yeah, it does come from within. Someone else said, she said, it's way too many unemployed niggas living with women to claim that they broke men are uncared for.
That's deep.
Shit.
I don't know nothing about that, though. Well, I did know something about that, so let me not act like I didn't have a past in life.
Shonda said, you can't say a man is loved properly if he has money because that woman is loving his money, not him. Facts.
True.
That's why, what's that nigga? Was it finesse 2 times? Just broke up with his girlfriend.
Yeah. You talking to me like you crazy. Gang, slime.
I've caught myself calling a nigga bro,
No,
gang.
I mean, I feel him.
Not gang, but you know, I had to.
Yeah. But you too tough. Like you
Also,
a nigga.
A man has to provide an environment where a woman can feel vulnerable. She
Ah.
has to, the same thing with a nigga. Same thing with a nigga. That's why a bitch be like, how you fall in love with him? Because
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
He gave me something different. Every person brings out a different person.
For sure. That's just tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Hey, share this video, please.
She said, Patricia said, some women like dealing with guys with money and don't end up with nothing but a wet ass, trying to boost their ego off of his fame for sure. And a lot of women,
Patricia.
And that's a fact. That's a fact. Because look at what the media is posting. Oh, if you ain't got this Birkin, if you ain't got this, if y'all ain't driving this, and there's so many people with money that's chasing these niggas that is literally unhappy.
Right.
These bitches be having the fattest ass, be the prettiest bitches, but be the ones with no personality,
Absolutely.
no characteristics, no mentality, no nothing. And I really hate that. I really do hate that because we are the thing. In the Bible, it says when a man find a woman, he find a good thing. Not the other way around, baby. Don't do that.
It's changing now.
No, it ain't.
It is.
It's not.
It's changed.
You gonna go tell God he changed the world?
I'm saying the society has changed. And shout out to God. But what I'm saying is that the catch and the prize is you can use that up until there's nothing else to be used in the relationship, is what I'm saying. I think that women and men have found themselves in this space where they just need everything, where they're going to consume all of it.
Right.
And because it's mine, it's like, well, how much are you reciprocating as much as you're taking from a man or from a woman? And I find myself consciously saying, I don't want to accept so much because I'm not willing to give you the same thing.
But I also think, because we're not going to act like sex ain't got nothing to do with
Oh,
nothing.
for sure. No question.
When you get done sleeping with somebody, how often can you turn over and have a conversation with them?
Like right after?
Right after, during, well, I mean, not fuck during, sorry.
Because if you're having a conversation, something is happening. And you can have a real conversation having sex, but
I'm just saying, like,
wouldn't be like a real conversation.
If you can sleep with somebody, and that's as far as you can go, and as far as you know, because you know right off rip, oh, I can't do nothing with this nigga. I've had a couple niggas. When I call you, just answer the phone, we do what we do. Because I know I can't do nothing else with you.
Right.
How, it's like just...
And shout out to you for saying that, because most women wouldn't say that.
Man, what the fuck I gotta lie for? You know what I'm saying? That's just real shit.
Yeah.
But after you get done sleeping with somebody, then what? Right. Then you kind of do it to yourself because you know this not no woman you could sit and talk with, finances, mental, emotional, even you can crack jokes with. Some of these bitches be so stiff because they just too pretty to smile. Bitch, if you don't crack a smile line on that goddamn, like, come on, bruh. Y'all be falling in love with a bitch because her ass fat and her pussy might be good for the moment, but...
She's just cussing on here.
I'm so sorry,
Brooklyn
Mark.
is lit.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's just the way I talk. Like, this is another problem. I have to stop cussing so much because
in the name of Jesus.
You too, and I love him.
I thought I cussed a lot, but
no, baby, I got you beat.
Yeah, you got me beat by tenfold.
Oh, for sure.
But it's okay. It's okay.
That be the problem because we be falling in love with them soul ties and them emotions, and that's where we get love confused with lust.
Right.
That's it right there. That's why I say self-love is and men too, women too, but it's really us because we only take what we allow.
I'll say this. At 33 years old, I'm starting to experience love.
Yeah.
I think relationships are one thing. You grow up learning what it is.
It's different levels of love.
But that's what I'm saying. It's true. It's true. Because I just saw somebody that I put my business outside. But I just saw someone and I felt like I felt like I was in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt something that I've always heard in a movie, but I never was able to just use it in the application. And that was the first time I actually was able to really genuinely feel that way. Like, this sounds like a movie line in a movie, but I really felt like that. So I think that's growth for me as a man. I really do.
And I think
shout out to that person.
That's an incredible thing to be able to acknowledge that.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? Because a lot of people,
sure.
The problem is you can tell somebody something all day till you blue in the face, but if they can't acknowledge it and receive it, then you wasting your damn breath.
For sure.
And I think being vulnerable is scary, but it's needed. Because all these niggas always be like, oh, none of these bitches love me, woo, woo. Okay, well, how do I love a brick? And it's the same thing for a woman. I had to learn that because I was a brick. Like, my ex tried his hardest to get me to break, and I didn't really start understanding the, like, love until it was too late.
Till it was gone.
And
but that's such a condition. That's so deep. It's such a condition to find out what you love once you no longer have it. It's so much of a culture plays a part in it, but it's really it's so deep, and I don't really want to get into it that deep. But
no, I know.
It's such a thing that we have to learn what we have by not having it anymore, and we really have to evaluate that from a lot of different aspects. Keep reading the comments. They comment. I know they comment.
Right now, everyone's just hopping on. They talking about sad gang, so your fellows are here.
Oh, gang in the building. I know what it is, man.
Whatever.
I know what's going on.
Granddaddy, get off of here. He talking about some facts. She be crying and do. Like I said, I'm not gonna hide my emotions. I've tried that for so long in my life, like trying to suppress it. That the shit just be coming out, and I'm attacking different people for no reason. So I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, punch something, get this shit out while I can, instead of trying to run from it. And
how big is therapy for you in the process?
Man, what? I love my therapist. Me and her on first name, like, that's my nigga. Because I've understood, like, I can't do this by myself. And that's why I love God so much and, like, my God-given friends and family, because I'll sit in the crib and lose my mind for a week straight over some shit I could have just talked out because I'm so emotional and I'll overthink something, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that you need to hold back your feelings? Like, do you think you need to, like, not be so emotional?
So the one thing that I am learning is time. Like, I can't just unload all at once. And I'm a lover girl. Like, as much as I am a thug, like, I'm FNF to the death, but I need a man. You know, and I used to be, I don't need no nigga, I don't need no man. I don't need a nigga, I need a man. And I think that's where I fall in love too quick with, like, the potential or whatever the case is, whatever's being presented, like, if it's too good to be true.
Have you ever, like, built a man up to the potential that you saw to him before he was there?
Hell yeah.
Okay. How did that go?
it turned very toxic, very abusive, very fast.
And this, I feel like this. I feel like you don't lose anything by building up a man. Like because most women say, well, if I give you all of that and you just leave, it's like, well.
See, you never give more than you have to yourself.
Right.
And that's what people fail to do.
Right.
I did that. I was bailing niggas out of jail. I'm paying, like, I was doing all types of shit.
What's going on?
And I'm not ashamed to say it because I was young, I was dumb. Now I'm on my shit. I don't mind helping you, but I've never talked to a nigga after that I've had to help. Right. Because all of them have been older. They've been able to school me and teach me. I've been open to receive that.
That's good.
But hell, I was young. I was like fucking 19, 20. You know
Bailing
what I'm saying?
people out of jail.
Shit, we was bailing each other out of jail.
It's a crazy ride, George. The Boyloscrazy. What?
You said it's crazy.
What are you doing, man?
Man, it was bad. But
I've never been through that phase in life.
I'm actually glad I went through it. Now I can look back and laugh because I know for a fact what I'll never go through again. Because, like, what's it called? Trigger warning. But, like, I went through a lot of abuse growing up. So that became something normal for me. Just like they say, when you finally get something, when you pray for it and you get it, you usually mess it up because you're not used to it. Because you always self-sabotage.
For sure.
I was that person. So that toxic relationship became like a normal for me, and it was okay. So that's why I dealt with it for so long.
Wow.
But I will never go back to that shit.
Wow.
I kind of dealt with some shit like that this summer, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? I had to leave that shit.
Yeah. It was on the tip of it.
Man, what?
Start feeling things. Hold on.
That feels a little bit too familiar.
You just pinched me. I'm gone. God bless you, brother. God
you know
bless
what I'm saying? So when you know better, you do better.
If you knew better, you do better. Need two sweaters.
And that's okay. And I feel like we have to give ourselves grace because you're still learning.
Well, I think, and this, I'm going to say this, I'm going to be really honest. Love isn't first on my list. Relationship isn't first on my list. Having a woman isn't first. I think love, I've seen so many of my peers fail in life because they want love. They want a companion, and they struggle so much together because they don't have any goals individually. They don't have anything that's going to say, no matter what, and this is where it comes, I'm not going to let you sacrifice what I am building. And that's what you got to really have. If you have a perception of, this is my goal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing is going to stop me from doing this. My son is 10 years old, and I tell this story on the show all the time. My son, people have kids, and the kids change the trajectory of their life because they have to switch.
Of course.
Unfortunately, I didn't have to do that because I only had one. And his support system was so great with his mother's side of the family, my side of the family. It was so great that I didn't need to change course. But if I knew if I had like 4 or like 2 or 3 more, I'd be like, yo.
Something got to change.
I can't be where I'm at today because I have to be able to put enough time and energy into what I want to do as a person. And I can't let anything change course on that. And some people sacrifice their kids.
Yeah.
I do not. My son lives in Las Vegas. I do not talk to my son every day. I have to vulnerably say that on this line so people understand, like, yo, nothing's perfect. Your time is sacrificed, but but it's still not worth my son not talking to me every day. Right. And I have to continue to tell myself that every day, like, let's do better, do better, do better, do better. This business isn't
trying man
everything.
Isn't doing man. I will always give credit where it's due because shit is hard. Just like you said, life is hard.
Yeah.
But also where you say, like, you would never allow somebody to be the sacrifice of what you have going on. I think, like, for me personally, I wanted to be loved so bad because when I finally got a taste of it and it began to leave me, everything fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
Because this one feeling that gave me this high, oh my God, I need it, I want to give it back. Fuck all this other shit I got going on.
And like, that's so crazy.
It was, but I'm glad I went through that because now.
Talk to me a little bit more about that. I got to know. You got to give me some more. In those moments, you were saying, this is all I need? I don't need anything else.
So growing up, I went from my real mom. I left my real mom. I went straight to foster care. From foster care, I got adopted by somebody else. So I had been going from crib to crib to crib for a good while. There was not, I felt love from my foster parents. And then after that was kind of like the last moments I had. So growing up, I was usually like getting my ass beat, or, whatever. I was going through some real shit. And I just became a brick. And by the time I got to high school, I was like, shit, I'm a brick. Like, I'm going through high school, mind my business, and that's when I met my ex, and he made me start feeling again. So for someone that opened up that
Feeling anything.
feeling anything, you know what I'm saying? I used to walk around my foster parents' crib mad as hell, and they're like, "We ain't did shit to you,"
Right,
and it
right,
had nothing to do with them.
Right.
It's just I've always had to protect myself, and I've protected myself so much that I've started to hurt myself because I've been putting off and the emotions and the love that I really am supposed to be getting from people that do love me because fuck y'all. But you know, that was the conditioning. But
Right.
that when he finally took that away, like when I lost my mom, that love was gone. I was 5 years old. That love was gone.
Yeah.
So I was struggling with that. I lost my foster parents and got adopted. Lost that love. I was fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, shit, I'm supposed to stop loving them.
Yeah.
Because every time I love,
they
it
leave.
leaves.
Yeah.
So why would I keep putting myself
That's a
through
good
this?
book title. Every time they love, they leave. Yeah.
Sound like a Luther song. But,
Straight up.
you know, by the time I fell in love, I'm like, well, shit, I got to
You
do
fell for the closest thing to feel like love. Even though
but
it wasn't
it's crazy
furious
because
love.
he loved me so hard for like the first 6 months, and I still would be like,
Clinging
all
to
right,
those
bro,
moments.
you know,
Yeah.
And he, like, even the first time he told me he loved me, I was like, thank you, because I didn't know how to receive it, because I'm not gonna say that shit back. As soon as I say it back, it's
You're gonna
over with.
leave.
So it went
Y'all
on.
give some hearts and likes. Y'all hit the heart button for Brooklyn. That was real.
Because I know a lot of women that have felt that and went through that, and I feel as though even me be 24, I don't want nobody else to go through that shit.
24?
Yeah. Y'all know, right? It's
Young.
a lot of younger women that's
You're
going
young.
through this shit.
You're young.
You know what I'm saying?
young.
And
Do you think you've experienced love from a man?
he wasn't a man, so I can't really say that. I feel like everyone got their first, and he was my first. He's my first
The
everything.
first.
That
Okay,
nigga, when I tell you he took me from the top of the list.
It's the
to
same guy, the
man,
same dude.
what I did some shit I never would have thought I did. Like
Yeah.
I'm kicking in doors and knocking people's heads. Like
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. He took me from a high to a low real quick, real fast.
At like 16 or something?
No, it was from I want to say like 19 to 20 was the worst couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, because I really stopped fucking with him when I was like 22.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's growth for me, because
Yeah,
baby,
yeah.
I thought I was never gonna leave this nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's real, because that's the only love I had.
So what took you away from it so that you could see it? Because some people can't. Okay.
I walked in on it.
Okay.
And it's crazy. Funny story. I drove around until I couldn't drive no more. I drove everywhere I thought I seen his car. And my gut just kept telling me, like, something ain't right, because I tried to go to sleep, I prayed. And God was like, no. Because I kept asking, God, show me. And he's like, all right, because I'm not going to keep playing with your
I'm finna show you right now.
Oh, my mama, get up.
And
so
the realest way.
What? So I drove around. Mind you, he stay in an apartment complex. I pull up. It's a car I've never seen. And he stay in an apartment complex, so how the fuck would I know? That's how I know I was crazy.
Yeah.
So I walked to the door.
Oh, it's a car you never seen in the lot.
Yes.
With all of the cars.
Yes.
Okay.
So I walk up to the door. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I walk up to the car. I walk up to the door. His mama let me in the crib. So I'm thinking I'm going to be sitting on the couch like New York waiting for this nigga to walk in.
Right.
I walk in and he laid up with some bitch. Boy, I blacked out. Like,
What was his mama on?
She knew me. Like, her,
Oh, you were like
his
in the
mom
family.
and my real mom was best friends growing up. So that's why she knew me from diapers.
Yeah.
So I beat the fuck out that man. And from that moment, I knew,
And
like,
the girl? You knew.
I told her to get up and go
Oh,
because
okay,
she
okay.
didn't do nothing to me. She was
Right.
like, I didn't know he had a girlfriend. I said, that's fine, but he did, so it's your best bet to leave.
Right.
I told that man up. I told him up from the floor up to the floor down.
Right.
Mind you, he damn near 3 times my size, but he was drunk, so I got down on his ass. But at that moment, I was sitting in that chair crying and laughing. I was having a come-to moment because I was like, if I keep this up, I'm gonna be in jail for real.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'd already
You
been.
saw it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd already been in the back of a cop car, all type of shit. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this ain't love.
No, this can't
like,
be
what
love.
am I holding on to? And after that, I was done.
Y'all clap it up for me.
Like,
She beat the guy up and left him at the kitchen
he's
table.
sitting here talking about, I'm hurt. I'm like, my heart hurt. You know what I'm saying? You can get another whatever, because I really went crazy. But
Yeah.
you got to, just like I said, I was so tired of being tired. I don't even think I told none of my friends until maybe a week after that. And I usually be calling them immediately. When you get tired of being tired, you get tired. And from them 2 years, I've just been learning to love myself.
Like, how do you self-evaluate yourself to keep you accountable versus making the world be the reason the problem exists?
I feel like I'm one of those people that really, I analyze everything I do and say. Because I always hate to make somebody else feel a type of way. So I will always try to analyze myself. Like, I am a little bit aggressive. I am a little bit, I cuss a lot, so I try to analyze those things to make sure I'm still in check. Because I don't want to go throughout life just doing whatever. Because I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. I can't leave until I do that. But I write, I read, I pray. Just trying to stay centered, like, with myself. I used to send out memos to my, like, closest friends to be like, is there anything as a friend you want me to work on?
That's deep.
I
That's
asked my
vulnerable.
parents, like, is there anything, you know what I'm saying, I can do as a daughter, anything you need me to change, or, you know, like, they be just like, we know you well enough, like, we know. And I think the biggest thing is acknowledging that. Because first you got to acknowledge that maybe this ain't okay. Because a lot of people, and that's a lot of people's problem, that's why that narcissist word start floating around like air. First of all, do everyone know what the hell a narcissist is? But people that do things knowing better but don't acknowledge it.
Absolutely.
So I refuse to become one of those people.
How do you? It's a great. And the people are loving you too, by the way. They're commenting crazy about you.
Thank you.
So shout out to y'all, and make sure that you guys are hashtag. I want everybody to hashtag Brooklyn right now. Just hashtag the name Brooklyn right now. I need 10 people to do that right now, and you can get free entry until the next. We've got a party coming up. We got Tuesday karaoke.
Yeah,
It's free
karaoke.
though. It's free. I'll get you a drink. First 5 people to hashtag Brooklyn come to karaoke. Crazy Yoki tomorrow.
Yep.
Your first drink is on me. How do you correct yourself in the moment? I find myself arguing with women, and it takes for them to really think about what the conversation was, and then 3 days later tell me that I was maybe right, and maybe wrong too. How do you evaluate heated disagreement? How does that happen?
It kind of comes from, like, my childhood, which is probably traumatic, but whatever. I would used to shut down. That was my biggest thing in my relationship. I will be quiet because I know how far. I ain't even gonna say that because I don't know how far I can take shit. I've shocked myself to a point where I didn't looked up and I was like, why the fuck would you just say that?
Right.
And I don't want to be in that position again because I've had people say shit to me in the heat of the moment. I'll be like, you want me to die? Like, for real? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be that person. I will
You
okay
want me to
you.
die? Yeah,
No, literally. I used to say shit like that all the time. Like, and I'm like, why the fuck am I saying this?
Yeah,
For
that's
God
tough.
hit me with a reverse Uno card.
Yeah.
Now it's on me.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I will okay you, or I will sit there silent. Like, I will literally have to force myself to shut up because I don't know what I'm capable of. So my biggest thing was never being able to be wrong. And I had to get to a point where even my friends would tell me, like, okay, bitch, you might have been wrong. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. And I'd be like, damn, maybe you was kind of right. But listening, I feel like we all so quick to talk, but we not quick to listen and receive. Not saying I do that shit all the time, but it is moments where I've had to catch myself and been like,
I'm tweaking.
just shut up, because maybe whatever you saying, I can really listen. Most of the niggas that I have dealt with, when they get to talking, I usually just shut up and listen, because
And that's
I don't
versus
know
you shutting
why.
down. That's just
Yeah.
that's not you shutting down. That's just you shutting
because
down.
I'm a carer, so I usually get like nonchalant carers. So when they do talk, I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll shut the fuck up and listen to what they saying.
Right.
Because I had one of my friends, she was listening to one of her niggas, and she was like, he just said everything he needed to say without saying it.
Right.
And I was like, if I wasn't listening, I wouldn't have caught that.
Right.
So you have to be able to actually listen and comprehend in the moment versus trying to argue, because what you arguing for? He not going to hear what you saying, and it's vice versa. So.
Absolutely. Let me read some of these comments. Shonda Pipe says she's very mature for her age,
Oh, thank you.
which she definitely is. Miss McLean says she reminds me of myself. Denise Moore says this young lady has such a level of strength and resilience. Therapy is key. Continue to walk in your higher self. Go and remain where you are celebrated and not tolerated.
Facts.
Your emotional intelligence will allow you to be self-aware and be vulnerable and establish connections. Great topic, Carlos Smith and Platform. Thank you. Shonda Pipe says hashtags Brooklyn. Taisha Janae hashtags Brooklyn. Joshua Bowers hashtags Brooklyn. Whitney Renee, she hashtags Brooklyn as well. And Miss Erica McLean says accountability. She says that. So shout out to that.
Yeah, facts.
So relationships are like, how much do you build? It's a deep question. How much do you build a relationship and have to go through turmoil in the building and stay? How much do you feel like, okay, we're building, I have to go through this to build strength? Do you have to go through hell?
Okay.
For it to
before
be
you
love.
even finish that, I need us as women, as black women, to stop feeling this low we have to go through hell to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way men might feel like they have to have money to be loved. No, the fuck you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my thing. Oh, like, I had someone tell me, like, oh, if he ain't beating your ass, he don't love you. So, mind you, I'm getting dragged out the crib, black eye, you know what I'm saying, all type of shit. Not say, like, he's not a bad guy. Like, anyone that does know him, he's not a bad guy.
That's tough.
But, I wasn't not beating his ass either, so.
Well, that's tough too.
But I don't want to go through that. If I have to
you shouldn't
go
have
through,
to. You shouldn't have to.
That's what I'm saying. You are undeserving of love. You are deserving of love without having to do anything. Existing is enough to be loved. Because that's the case. If we had to do something for God to love us, we would never measure up.
For sure.
We wake up and we're loved. We breathe and we're loved. So why shouldn't it be the same with the fellow brother or sister or spouse, whatever the case is? I don't feel like I have to go through all of this shit to be loved. That's not fair to me. As a woman, we're supposed to be open, soft, and vulnerable to be loved. And a man is supposed to be loving as well. But no, hell no. A man shouldn't have to go through that shit either. If a bitch is driving you crazy, leave that motherfucker alone. I don't care how good that pussy is. Leave that bitch alone.
Facts only. You can find some
Like,
new ones.
damn.
Absolutely. I agree.
On some real shit.
I think in practice that's tough.
I had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and I think it was along the line, my best friend, and he was like, I'm not replaceable. He was like, I mean, I am, but I'm not. And I said simply, I don't care how good of a female I am to whoever it is. I am replaceable. That nigga's replaceable.
For sure.
Because I can be providing something for that moment, and that might not be for that person, and it might not work
And
out.
I think if you
everyone's replaceable.
I think that security of not being replaceable keeps you kind of at a level of where you stay at. Because you think that he needs you. Yeah, for sure. And that's where the money thing comes into it. I've seen women be abused because they're provided for. For sure.
You've had a nigga tell you they love you, and then it's bitch fuck you, like you know what I'm saying.
So now you're identifying love with such violence. No, it's true.
Yeah,
that's a deep way.
if just like in my instance, I kept getting my ass beat, and then he'd be like, I love you, woo. I'm like, well, maybe you do love me, like, maybe I'm tripping. He didn't really mean to do it.
Right.
So now I'm associating that with love because that's what I'm getting right now.
Right.
And that's not okay.
Right.
Like, everyone's replaceable. And I stayed for so long because I'm like, won't nobody else love me the same way he loved me? And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, bitch, you can do it. Like, what?
And you have to really believe that you can love yourself in replacement of a man or a woman. It doesn't.
A family member, a mama, a daddy, nobody.
You gotta.
Anybody.
If you don't believe it, you'll always seek love from someone
Absolutely.
else. You gotta believe that you can give yourself love to the point to where you don't need a man or a woman to give it to you. Not saying that your whole life you'll spend alone. You got a man and a woman to add to the love that you have for yourself.
Absolutely, because think about it. Someone could wake up one day and tell you they don't love you no more.
Yeah, and now
your mama, your daddy, your support system, whatever it is, can wake up one day and God forsake that they don't wake up, and that's all the love that you was given. Now you're depleted. Now you're depressed. Now you're defeated.
Which is the case in a lot of situations, yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I was 16, my real mom died, and it felt like a part of me died. And I was so depressed. I mean, I had grew up depressed. I'm still kind of dealing with it, but that's when I was like, I'm sick of this shit. Like, I have the capabilities to love myself, and I'm still learning how to do that. Do I have down days? Absolutely. It's hard as hell to love yourself from the ins and outs. I'm talking about fuck the braids. I'm talking about the Erykah Badu with the no lashes, with the no love myself unconditionally, because what I have to give is what I have to give myself. Because when they leave, I can't leave with them.
Right.
And that's the problem with a lot of relationships, is that when they leave, everything that you were attached to them, that was my problem. Oh, he treat me like shit, I must not be shit. My friends be like, bro, are you stupid? Like, are you stupid? And I had to really sit with that, because just because how they treat me and they leave doesn't mean that's the way I define myself.
And let me say this too, and that was really dope. For anybody in the world, and this is why it goes back to the level of understanding of what you're going to prioritize. If you prioritize love from a man or from a woman as the number one priority, as Brooklyn just said, when they take that away from you, guess what happens? You lose your value because you're valuing your love for yourself based on someone else. I can't control what somebody else does and how they do it, what they do to me. But if I'm basing that love on how they're doing it, I'm always going to be unhappy.
You're always going to be empty.
That's why I've always provided my own happiness. People ask me, man, why do you keep going to Chicago High School? Why do you keep volunteering? I will not get paid on nobody's payroll in North Chicago High School, because then it becomes something that I have to do, and it becomes an obligation and a job. No, I love it.
But
That's
so many people don't have that, to be able to have the drive to be able to just exist, because it's hard. Some days, shit, nigga, what? I lost my job in August, right? I started this business. To be able to consciously get up and find happiness and a drive to do something that makes you feel, because that's why a lot of people are depressed. They don't know their purpose.
There you go.
They don't have their thing.
There you go.
They don't know who
reason
they
for
are.
waking up. There you go.
Exactly. Because when you lose that, then you just out here doing anything.
And it's
when
not.
you succumb to doing
I'm
anything,
a surprise some people. It's not your kids. I'm a surprise some people on here. It's not your children. Listen, and I know that's controversial.
don't live for your kids.
You
Live
cannot.
for yourself.
You cannot.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people try to get kids, make kids, and think that they're going to find their purpose through being a mother or a father. It does not work that way. You're going to be depressed with kids.
Because God gave you a purpose before you were able to bear that child.
Absolutely.
And you have to be able to know that.
She preaching. She preaching in her name. Hey.
You have to be able to know that before you have that child, because them children grow up and see you go about life, and they see the things that you do or lack thereof. Therefore, that's why you wonder why your kids act the way they act.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I'm not no counselor. No, I don't know.
No, that's good. That's
this is
good.
real
My
shit.
nephew, listen, I don't even kick it with my nephews like that. I really don't. Because I'll be so bogged down in my passion, and I got to do better. But my oldest nephew, he's in high school, about to graduate high school. His dad, he said, dude, do you know how much you've inspired your nephew? He's like, dude, he don't smoke, he don't drink because of you. He said that he didn't want to do none of that because he saw you do it. He saw you didn't do it and became successful to him. He said, you're an inspiration to your nephew. That practice to me made me realize that, your purpose, you're adding to, they're watching what you're doing.
Right.
Your kids
are sponges.
I promise you, listen, they watch you.
Yes.
So if you're struggling most of their lives, my mother has struggled a lot, but I really didn't know a lot of it. I didn't know we were struggling.
You don't know until you.
Yeah, I didn't know. But I didn't see that, so I didn't inherit that.
Right.
I didn't inherit a mindset to go struggle, because she made it look so easy, even though it was hard as hell. So the same thing that we're doing as adults, our kids, if you're not in something that you love, don't be surprised if your children don't find their passion because you didn't show them what it looks like. Luckily, I had people like Troy Smith and other people to show me and put something in my life to say, this is what you got to do, bro. You tweaking. This is what we about to do. Because without those things, it's tougher. I promise you, your life is tougher when you do not know your purpose.
Yes.
And getting on the journey to find your purpose
But yeah,
is
I was going to say,
great
it
time.
takes time. You don't just wake up and you like, this is my purpose. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been running from my purpose because I know my purpose. And it solely is to help other people. It's to speak. I have a way to be able to communicate with people. I'm a prayer,
clearly,
I'm a prayer warrior. And I'm like, shit, man, I don't want to do none of this shit.
I'm like savage. Fuck you to my mouth here.
God just sitting there like, okay, well, the harder you fight, the more you're going to be depressed. And I was so depressed because I was so frustrated. But he was like, it's sitting right there.
But I can see that battle in you. I can see it.
Because I'm stubborn as hell.
I know.
Y'all think dealing with me bad. Be God.
No, right. That's deep.
So.
That's deep. You got to get a deep button.
It takes solitude. No, for real.
No, straight up.
It takes solitude. And a lot of people confuse being lonely with being alone. You're never alone. You're always you're always with yourself. You're never by yourself.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
And that's where you have to go be off with yourself and really sit down and allow God to download your purpose in you. Or you going to continue to be depressed.
Because you're forcing it. You're forcing it and it ain't working, baby. And you got to tell yourself it's not working.
And your purpose, let me say this, your purpose may not be what you're good at. And it also may be. Just don't think you have one purpose, because I've clearly learned throughout this year, I'm good at a lot of shit.
Absolutely.
And I don't even say that like just to be.
Yeah, but no, you're honest.
It took me a while to get there.
Yeah.
People be like, good job, be like, it was all right. Accept that.
I'm still that way to this day. Like when people come in, like, man,
but
it's dope. I'll be like,
I had someone tell me it was almost like you're discrediting God because you won't accept the compliment. And I was like, damn, I don't want to do that. Like, I already get on his nerves. I don't want to do that too.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. You just hit me in the chest with that one.
No, same.
That was tough.
Right back in mine. But sit down with God and allow him to download that and accept that you are good at maybe multiple things.
Yeah, and stop. And we have to stop being in control of everything. I think
we not controlling nothing. That's the funny part.
I'll tell you this much. I'll be vulnerable as I always is on this show. It's not correct English, but as I always am. This crazy place took an astronomical amount of money. Most money I ever spent in my life. Did I have all the money in the beginning? No. but I believed every step of the way that it would happen no matter what.
Right.
I believe that all of the good karma that somebody just told me, Deshaun Lewis just told me this the other day, Saturday night. He says, bro, you have so much stock in your karma. He's like, you don't even realize it, that God, and he didn't even use God. He's like, you have so much return coming for all of the good that you've done that you haven't even reaped yet.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe it, you'll never give it an opportunity to just
get
happen.
to you. Yep.
You'll try to force something else to happen because you think that you need to control everything, and you can't.
Right.
It's impossible. I remember when my first month that I had to pay rent, and I did not have it because I had to deal with the landlord and it kind of messed up. And I'm like, yo, I don't have it. And I played hardball with these guys for the majority of this process because I was able to through the lease agreement.
Right.
And when they finally did their part, now it was on me to pay. And I'm like, I gotta honor it. It was like, you got 10 days, and we're gonna make something happen. And mind you, I'm already $230,000 in. So I'm like, or 230,000. That's what I said. I'm like, yo, they finna make a move, and I'm like, I just did like this. I said, God, if I truly am who I think I am and who I think that what you put inside me to be, I'm not going to control the outcome. I've done enough. Show me what to do or make something happen. And I promise you, from that day forward, I never worried about nothing. I just kind of made business moves, of course, but not try to control every aspect of it.
Because the biggest thing with faith is, child, when you pray, you can't pray and worry at the same time because that nullifies the prayer. And I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like it's a walk in the park and it's easy because it's many times I prayed and I went back to the altar and I was like, I don't think God heard me. I got to grab this shit and take it with me. And God like, okay, well, until you leave it, I'm not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
And I have anxiety problems bad. Like I was having
You gotta
bad,
see it.
Oh man, I was having bad anxiety attacks the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I had finally just broke down, went and sat with God. And I really just gave it to God. Like last night, I sat in the tub and just gave it to God.
Yeah.
And I just felt, when I got out the tub, it felt like I just left everything that I didn't need.
I think that's so big, though. Let's say you don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Let's say you like straight up whatever. The act of not trying to control it still matters.
Absolutely.
Whether you believe in happenstance, you believe in karma, you believe in
The
Buddha,
universe,
whatever you Buddha, the universe will bring it back. Those things matter. Whatever ultimate being you're saying is attributing to your success or helping you do that, it's good to just step away from it and not try to manipulate it into every place that you want to. Because you cannot do that. If everybody could do that, then everybody would be rich. Everybody would be famous. Everybody would have everything if you could just grab and just control it how you want to. You have to keep operating that somebody else is or something is helping you live your purpose. I truly believe that.
Yeah,
on
it's
my
hard
life.
though.
It's difficult. It's not easy.
Like when I had the Sip and Write event, the main thing that we stressed was healing is a journey, not a destination. That's what life is too. Don't think you're gonna get all this shit before you turn 30. I've come to the realization that I might not get married before I turn 30. You know what I'm saying? Being realistic, and that's okay because my value's not gonna disappear. Or, my life that at 24, I thought I was supposed to be fresh out of college. I thought I'd be a lot further along. Like, I thought I would have went to school. It's so many things I would have thought of and expected out of life. That's not going to happen. But I still have a lifetime to go that I can still attain these things.
It's good.
And if I do, God forbid, die tomorrow, I did the best I could while I could.
And stop and key point to what you're just saying. I knew someone who said that. Well, I wanted to have this and I wanted to that. Well, you're putting these predetermined goals on your life.
And that's why you're so stressed the fuck out. Because who gave you these qualifications?
Who told you that?
Who told you that? You. Standards,
when they tell you
media. You know what I'm saying? And we fall victim to all the things that we see because what you see is what you want.
Absolutely.
And you drive yourself crazy to a point where you try to get to this
and
you can't, and then you're depressed. And that's exactly what they want. They want you to be stuck in this cycle where you're always going for the next thing. That's why Apple keep dropping a new same damn phone.
Absolutely.
And that's real. Should we keep chasing after something that's hanging in front of us that we'll never reach?
Absolutely.
So when you get into the present moment and actually sit and value that, because so often we always thinking about the past or the future that we forget that God blessed us with a present.
Right now.
That right now.
You're living right now.
That's why you be so damn depressed. That was my problem. I'm always thinking in the future. I'm thinking 10 years from now.
What you don't got, what I don't have, what I need to get.
I don't have a job. I got to pay rent in 21 days.
Yeah.
I gave to God.
Hey man, look, I got it. I figured it out. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
I'm gonna get there.
Let me read
as
these
long as I'm
comments.
doing what I'm supposed to. So
You better be. Good karma.
man.
Tyson says, being open the way that you are is such a blessing, and being open without being scared is such a good thing to see. Most of us are scared to leave and wanting to stay. I was, and I lived through. So thank you for speaking on this, she says.
Of course.
Erica says, that's our generational curse. Tyson says, that's manipulation. She was speaking on that other part we was talking about. Ms. McLean says, God, I have so much to say on this topic. Well, come on in, girl.
No, literally.
Tyson says, I had to learn to love myself after a long-term relationship, being single for over a year now, and I love myself, built myself back up, and began to live, not necessarily partying, just taking myself on dates, loving myself, uplifting myself, just empowering myself.
I love that.
Joshua Power says, Brooklyn is deep.
Thank you.
Janae puts up the hands. And that was our last comment. Shout out to everybody that's watched and tuned in.
Yeah.
You'll see more of Brooklyn. She's going to be on camera and off camera sometimes.
Yeah, I thought I was the producer.
Yeah, I know. But of course, you speak well. Of course, we got to get you on the show as often as we can. But she'll be taking over as the Crazy Riot Show producer. She does a lot of different things.
A lot.
So obviously, if you guys don't know her, be looking out for her. She's got events coming up, all type of stuff. We got a pop-up shop coming up.
Yeah.
With Ebony.
Ebony will be doing a breast cancer pop-up shop. So if y'all are any vendors, she's looking for about 20-something vendors.
Yeah.
Vendor fee is $75. Hop on while you can. It's going to be beautiful. She's trying to give everyone the opportunity to have a storefront that, may not be able to afford one right now, but just be able to still sell their product and their service.
Yeah.
And I think that's really big. Community is really big.
Definitely.
So we're going to start doing stuff, with the community and jump back in. And
on the phone.
it's our turn.
It's our turn. We
It's
here.
our turn. So
We lit. Y'all shout out to Brooklyn. Y'all give us some hearts and likes. Y'all know what it is. Today we're gonna be lit. I have an event today at Gillespie Theater. If you,
Make sure y'all come out.
If you want to come and learn,
5:30?
is it 5?
5.
You want to come listen to some
Yeah.
different conversation and different sides of the fence,
Get some free knowledge.
and learn things about different people.
Yeah.
I don't block any thought. I don't block anyone's approach, as long as they're not being disrespectful to me. God bless America.
I didn't know that. I can't afford the mic.
Yeah, it moves up and down.
Oh, shit. I feel rich. Okay.
Yeah, we rich over here. Yeah, right. It's the Crazy Ride Show. It's the Boyloscrazy.
Yes, in Brooklyn. I
in
got to get a
Brooklyn.
name.
You got Brooklyn, not from New
I
York.
need the button that say Brooklyn. And
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hot. There you go. We might work on that. Yeah. Shout out to Shaq the God, Desi Bendo. Stay down, fly. We'll see y'all
Yes,
next
sir.
time. It's the gang. We're going to be lit tomorrow. Crazy Okie. Make
At
sure you pull
9.
up at 9 o'clock. It's the gang. I'll be smooth.